Oh man. Let's see what else is going on.
Other than Hearthstone,
Yeah.
uh, your car.
Yeah. So a little while ago, my airbag light, I turned on the car to go dashing and the airbag light was on and I went, "Ah, piss. I'm going to have to get that looked at." And I went to my first pickup and picked up the food, and when I turned the car back on, the airbag light wasn't on. And I went, "Oh, okay, cool." And the next time that I turned on the car, the airbag light was on. And I went, "Wait, what?" And it was just periodical. Like sometimes it was on, sometimes it wasn't. So I figured there was like a loose wire sensor or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't really worry about it too much. And then at some point, it switched over to just being on all the time. And I went, "Oh, that's probably not good." And then a few days ago, the check engine light came on. And I went, "Ah, piss." So the first thing you do, by the way, when the check engine light comes on, is check your gas cap. Because a loose gas cap can cause the check engine light to come on. So I did. And it seemed fine. And then later that night, I uh, I had to fill up the car anyway, so yeah. But the check engine light was still on. So the next day, I was a bit overdue for an oil change, and I don't know how a check engine light works. So I said, "Well, I'll go get an oil change because I need." When I say a bit overdue, I mean pretty overdue. So I went to get an oil change, and the check engine light didn't go off, and I went, "Ugh." So I called a Toyota dealership and took it to them. And it turns out that the check engine light was, in fact, the gas cap. But it doesn't go away when you fix the problem. I guess so you'll take it to, they hope, a dealership so they can uh, try to weasel you out of money, I guess. I don't know. But you think if there's a problem and then you fix it, the light that says there's a problem should go away. But that's not how it works with a check engine light these days. So that's nice. But then the airbag light, it turns out, is because the airbag clock spring spiral cable that's under my steering wheel
Mm-hmm.
is going bad. And that sumbitch is gonna cost me at the dealership $1,000.
Yeah.
And she told me that, and my jaw dropped and hit myself in the foot, and it hurt. And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, the part is like $700, and then the labor, and then the taxes." And I'm like, and I'm just staring at her, going, And I was like, "What happens if I don't fix it?" She's like, "Well, your airbags probably won't deploy." I said, "Okay." She said, "At some point, the buttons on your steering wheel will stop working." And that's happened a couple times where the buttons on the steering wheel just don't work. And then I'll like turn the car off and turn it back on, and the buttons on the steering wheel are like, "Okay, cool." Only a couple times, but still, that's more than zero. And when she walked away, I Googled it, and apparently, if I don't fix it eventually, then the steering wheel might stop, working. But that's like way, way far away. So, like, she also said cruise and turn signals might not work. And I went, ugh. But apparently, I'm only slightly out of warranty. It's got a 36,000-mile warranty, and I'm at like 38. And she said, "It's possible that they will cover this for you. Here, call this number and see what they can do." The problem is, it's a 36,000 miles or 36-month warranty. And it's a 2016, and it's now the end of 2020, which is more than 36 months. So they haven't given me a definite answer yet, but it's looking doubtful that it'll get covered by Toyota as a, gesture of goodwill. Which sucks because, for those that don't know, on Saturday it's my birthday, and I turned 40, which is a big number. And I'm going to have to spend $1,000, which is an even bigger number. Like, luckily, I'm much better off than I was, last year this time when I was concerned about paying rent any given month. And, like, I have enough money to cover it sitting in a savings account. The problem is, that's not my money, that's tax money. Because DoorDash pays cash, essentially. So you have to take out your taxes yourself.
Right.
So it's all just sitting in a savings account for the end of the year when my accountant tells me how much I owe, and I go, fuck! And then I pay it. Like, which means when I say I can't afford it, it means I can't actually afford it. Because that money is supposed to go elsewhere. So, that's a problem. But I guess that's a bridge I'll burn when I come to it, because at the moment, I'm still hopeful that something will turn up. I asked the nice lady at Toyota what department she was in so I'd know how to get in touch with her again. And she said, brand engagement. And I went, would it help any if I told you this is the very first Toyota I've ever owned? And she goes, well, we're very happy to have you in the Toyota family. And I went, it's also almost my 40th birthday, and I can't afford this. Huh? By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, on Saturdays, which is my birthday, we do watch parties here on the Manipool. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you can watch the watch party with us, link your Twitch account, your Prime account, or don't. You could just watch it on Prime while having me live on like a tablet or a laptop or something. And this week, now I set this up before I realized that my birthday was Saturday, but this week we're watching 2 movies based on 80s toy properties. We're starting with a terrible movie that I love, Masters of the Universe. It's so bad, and I just love it. And then we're watching Bumblebee, the best Transformers movie that isn't the original Transformers the movie, because Michael Bay didn't direct it. And yeah, it's gonna be a good night. Yay. Steph is gonna join me for those, like she does most weeks. And anybody else, like any of you guys, if you happen to want to watch movies and shoot the breeze while we watch them, then you guys are welcome too. But I know most of you have stuff, lives and stuff. That was for you 3 dorks.
Okay.
But I didn't actually start this upload. I just opened the upload window. Bad at this game. There we go. Chat said fundraiser stream soon. I doubt that. Like, I haven't done a charity stream in like over a year now, because first things were too frantic, and then COVID happened, and I didn't want to make anyone feel like they should hey, donate money that you might not have. That just felt bad. So I didn't do that. So since I haven't done a charity stream, I don't think I could do a hey, send me money stream. That's just messed up. Besides, it's entirely possible that it might be covered under warranty. Maybe. Can we somehow pay for dinner this Saturday? Random K-Ho, I think you probably already did. So. Remember back in the day when the listener paid for Chinese takeout for the dorks while they had a game day?
I do remember that.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say I don't remember who that was. Or even when that was.
It was some time ago.
I'm only vaguely, aware that it happened. That was one of those at Brian's house, but I don't remember which Brian's house. Was it the old house?
No, I think it was this house.
Oh, okay.
But I've been living here for 7 years now, so
Jesus, really?
even 2013. So even
holy crap,
7.5 years. So even if you discount all of 2020, because you guys haven't come over this year, because we were planning for a gathering the first weekend in April.
Yeah, when it was like, yeah, maybe don't do that. We were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to get political this time, right? So
Yeah.
I shouldn't say anything about anything.
Hey,
yeah.
Saint Seagal, how you doing?
But yeah, I remember that. That was very sweet.
That was. We had Chinese takeout and nommed it, and it was glorious.
It was.
Oh.
And someday in the far-flung future, I'm looking forward to seeing these guys in person once again.
That would be nice. At some point.
Yeah. I don't know what made me think about it, but earlier this week, I just had a random flashback to being at a pre-release in person in a store. Not even one of the big ones, like back at Mike's old auditorium, but, just one of the ones at a store. And I'm like, the halcyon days of the summer children.
Yeah.
Mixing metaphors there, but you know what I mean. I'm totally going to be trying to get some Commander Legends tomorrow, though. I believe it goes on sale tomorrow. Well, goes on sale makes it sound like a discount. It will be available for purchase tomorrow. So, hoping to get a couple packs of that, so Sam and I can open some and maybe just build some decks with it.
And hopefully it's not like Jumpstart and shows up once and vanishes forever with them going, there's more coming, and there's not more coming.
Yeah, I checked on that at one point, and they're like, yeah, we should be getting some. And then I checked back later, and they're like, we were supposed to get some, and it's not the store's fault. So, yeah, I'm hoping that that it will not be that sort of situation. So I'm going to check tomorrow. I ended up not pre-ordering any. I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? We'll see if it happens. But I'm thinking, because it's just her and I, instead of drafting it, while that sounds great, maybe just open up a couple packs and building a deck together.
Nice.
We'll see how many I can get a hold of.
Ouch. Oh man. So I had 2 things happen today while I was dashing. Would you guys like to hear the quick story of my dashing?
Sure.
Like I had
Yes.
4 deliveries today, all of which had something going on. So the first delivery, I turned down like 2 orders that were way far away for no money. And I got a third one that was like, it was Chick-fil-A and it wasn't that far. And I went, fine. I took it just so I wouldn't lose my, I wouldn't drive my acceptance rate too far down. So I'd have to fight with it to get it back the rest of the month. I went, fine. And I took it. I went to Chick-fil-A. I picked up their food. I took it to the house. And it said, leave at door. And so the procedure is, when you're dashing, you leave at the door. And you, in the app, it's like, take a picture. And you take a picture and it sends it to them. So I put it down in front of the door. I rang the doorbell. I backed up. I took a picture of the food in front of the door with the house number on the door, clearly visible, because I try to do that whenever possible. Unlike, I had a dasher once drop off my food and take like a close-up of the food on a sidewalk. And I'm like, that doesn't do anything. It's literally a bag on a sidewalk. You idiot. So I always try to like get the house number or something like unique to their door or porch or something, when I drop it there. And I typed my usual, thanks a lot, comma, have a good night, exclamation point, send, confirmed, got in the car, left. Because that's what you do when it says leave at door. Right?
Right.
And I drove back to town, didn't get a message for a while. I called mom to talk to her for a few minutes. And I got a text from DoorDash that said, hey, this order that you delivered on this date at this time, which was that order. Oh, also there was no tip. So that was nice. It was a nice, like, big order from Chick-fil-A with no tip, you bastards. And I get a text from DoorDash that says, hey, this wasn't delivered. It was reported that this order that you delivered at this date at this time wasn't delivered. And I went, the hell you say? What do you mean it wasn't delivered? And I am immediately suspicious of anyone who doesn't leave a tip for their delivery driver, by the way. Tip your delivery driver. And the first thought that popped into my head was, that was a pretty big order for Chick-fil-A. They didn't leave a tip. And then they marked it as not delivered. I bet those bastards are just trying to scam a free meal. Which may or may not be true, but that's what I think now, from now on. I hope I never have to go back to that particular house. And it was like, click this link and file a report. So I clicked the link, and it's like, dash your number, email address, name, tell us what happened. And I said, it said leave at door. I left it at the door. I rang the doorbell. I took a picture with the house number clearly visible. I sent it to them. I left. I don't know what else there is to say. Because there was no... Like, there is no side of the story. It's like every other leave at the door delivery I've ever done ever. So, that was fun. My next delivery was to the next building over, here in my own complex, and there was $1 tip. So at this point, I've made 2 deliveries. I've made like $8. And I'm like, I think I might be done for the night. Because I'm right here. I had to drive past my apartment to get out. And I went, no, I'll stick to it. The next order. No, unfortunately, you can't see the address before you accept the dash. You can zoom in real far on the map and try to figure out where it is, but that'll never work for me in the future. So, because there are a couple places I would have stopped delivering to because they don't tip. There's one person that used to order Chipotle every week, and those bastards never tipped, not once. And it was always like 5 burritos. And I'm like, I hope your house burns down. But, anyway. And they were never there. Like, it was always, but it was marked as hand to the customer. But then in the directions, it would say leave at door. So I couldn't do all the things. I would just drop it in front of their door and leave. It's like, you piss off. But anyway, so the second delivery, like I said, I made $1 extra. And I was like, yay. The third delivery was a Chinese place. So I go to the Chinese place, and it's pretty good. It's going to double my money for the night with this one delivery. Wow. So I go to deliver it, and it's a house. It's sort of far away, just a little far away, you know. It was worth the money. Mm-hmm. And it's a house up on a hill, and it's pitch black. And I'm like, great. They didn't even turn any lights on. So I go all the way up this long-ass driveway. Well, what I think is a long-ass driveway. That's a teaser for the fourth delivery. And you have to go up a set of stairs to get to like a wooden deck, and then go upstairs to get to the front porch, right? Like it's that kind of house. And at the top, and it's pitch black. Like I said, I've got the flashlight on my phone up because I can't see anything. And I get to the top, and I go, what is this? There's like a wooden lattice work in the way. And I try to like push it to see if it's on a gate or something. It's not. It doesn't move. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I figured it was for like a puppy gate or something. You know, they just took some wooden lattice work, put it in front of there so the dog couldn't get out. And while I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to get over it, because I'm not going to try to step over it because there's stairs behind me. So if I miss, you know, whoops. And I finally figure out it's just resting on some nails, you idiot. So I lift one end up and move it out and take a step forward. And the light comes on. And I'm like, oh, thanks for finally turning the damn light on. Jesus Christ. And the door opens and a dude sticks his head out and goes, yes? And I went, dinner. And he said, no. And I went, what? And I held up the bag and I went, did you not order DoorDash? And he said, no. And I saw the number on the door was where I was supposed to be. So I said, is this not rattle off address? And he went, yeah. And at this point, his wife had joined him. And he goes, what is it? I said, it's Chinese food. And he turns to her and he said, didn't Tyler say he was ordering Chinese food? I said, Tyler, yeah, that's the name I've got. And she went, oh, Lord, that's my son. I went, oh, okay, well, could you give it to him? She's like, he lives in Winston. And I went, what?
So you didn't answer my question. Can you give it to
Yeah.
him?
I said, what? And she said, why is he coming here? He lives in Winston. And I showed them the phone with this address. And I went, he must have forgotten to change from like this location to that location, because in DoorDash you can pick, you know, if you've had it delivered to multiple places in the past, you just pick where you are. And yeah, she goes, well, I guess I'm delivering Chinese food tonight. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but on my end, there's nothing I can do but bring it to where it tells me to take it. She's like, it's not your fault. It's his. So I text him real quick. I'm like, hey, apparently you left your parents' address in here. He goes, really? And I said, yeah, because I'm standing here with them. I'm sure you'll hear about it in a second. And I sent him a screenshot of my DoorDash thing with his address, or with this address. And like, that, you know, I apologized to them. They said, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. Are you already paid? Is this paid for? I said, yes. She said, okay, then I guess I'll get in touch with him. And I went back down and got in the car and was almost all the way back into town. Actually, I was back into town. I was almost to my next pickup when I got a text back from the dude that said, yep, I'm meeting them now. I'm really sorry about that. I was like, I mean, don't apologize to me. I'm just glad you don't live very, very far away.
Yes.
So
Otherwise, hope that they have the same taste in Chinese food as you.
yeah, right.
'Cause you just bought them dinner.
And she did say, I mean, if he doesn't want to come get it, I might not want to take it to him. We might just have it for dinner. And I said, New Dragon Palace is pretty good. And so I get my next order, and I call the old man to tell him that, well, I called both parents separately to tell them this story, because it sounds like the sort of dumbass thing I would do. So I called mom to tell her, and she said, that does sound like something you might have done, and I'd have to drive your food all the way to Kernersville. I'm like, shut up. So I call the old man to tell him, and I realize while I'm talking to him that I am in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't know. I was somewhere off of Sandy Ridge, which is not necessarily nearby, and it was pitch black. I didn't see anything except what my my headlights were highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
And my phone, when you're on the phone, instead of the voice telling you where to go, it just goes ba-dink, so you look at your phone. And it went ba-dink, and I'm like, what the hell do you mean ba-dink? And I look down, and it says arrived. And I don't see anything. And so I slow down, and then I see a mailbox appear in front of me. And I'm like, old man, if I die, I'm out in the middle of nowhere somewhere off of Sandy Ridge. I just feel like you should know that. And he went, all right, well, don't die. That's the rule, damn it. And I went, I know, I made it. And we hung up. And I realized I turned my head all the way to the left, so I'm looking behind me, and I see a house way the hell down there off the road. And it's like a big plantation house with the big, white columns out front. And I went, you have got to be shitting me. Luckily, they turned on all the lights at the house because it is pitch black everywhere else. So I turn at this mailbox that has a number on it that matches the one I'm supposed to have. And I find that I'm on this long-ass gravel road that, I won't say it's winding, but it did have 2 turns to get to this house. And I look at the directions, it says deliver to the side door. And I'm like, ooh, the servants' quarters. And and I go all the way over there and I park. And well, first I reorient my car so I'm facing that way, because I am not about to try to back down this giant driveway. And I get out, and there's a woman standing at the side door. And I hand her the food, and I say, thank you so much for turning on all these lights around the house itself, or I would have thought this was a crank call. Like a crank delivery. And she said, oh yeah, you can't see the house if all the lights aren't on. And I went, yeah. And so those were my 4 deliveries. was one that didn't get delivered even though it did, another one that was right here that gave me $1, another one that was to the wrong people, and then one in the middle of nowhere to like a plantation house so far off the road that I would literally have never seen it. And that was my night. I was like, tonight sucked, but at least I got a story out of it. Yay!
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was in that Chinese food order? I have no idea. I remember seeing General Tso's chicken, but there were like 4 meals in there. I do remember that.
He didn't realize he was also buying Chinese food for his mom, but maybe he thought just in case.
Just in case, yeah. And the last 2 nights, the moon has been hanging out next to Jupiter and Saturn in the sky. That's been really cool.
And it's also been a waxing crescent, so we're just coming off of a new moon. So It's been dark.
Yeah. But those 2 bright spots that have been close to the moon are planets. The last 2 nights. Last night it was the moon was hanging out underneath them. Today it was off to the left of them. But yeah.
Neat.
I delivered one yesterday, and it was on the second floor of an apartment. And as I was coming down the stairs, I looked up and I saw the moon next to the 2 bright dots, and I went, I'm sure those are planets. I wonder which 2 they are. I bet it's Jupiter and Saturn. And I have a night sky app on my phone that'll tell you. So I whipped it out while I was still standing on the stairs, and I pointed it up there and I was zooming in. And this voice from like down and to the left goes, "Taking a picture of the moon?" And I went, "Huh?" I said, no, I'm looking to see if those 2 bright spots there are planets or not. He said, "Yeah, that's it's like Saturn and Mars, right?" I went, "No, Saturn and Jupiter. Mars should be," and I pointed over there, and it was. I was proud of me because I remembered that. And he said, "You're right. So your phone tells you that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have an app that," and I sort of held it up so he was standing below me so he could see. And he went, "Oh, it's really cool." And then he started talking about a telescope he used to own. And I'm like, is he talking to me? And then I heard another voice say, "Oh, that's cool." And I went, "Oh, thank God." Like, I was like, "All right, well, y'all have a good night." He's like, "Yeah, you too." And I was like, I don't have time to stand here and have a long conversation with this dude. I got food to deliver. Well, at least there wasn't purple lightning. Was that last week?
Moving up in the world.
That was
week before?
last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, whenever that was awful.
Where you were really tripping out about that.
Purple lightning. You go to hell. Oh, I'm in hell because it's purple lightning.
Everything is upside down.
Let's see. What is my sky viewing? It's called Night Sky. Is the one I have. Because it was free, and so I downloaded it. Yay.